Well, g'day, mate.
Hello.
How are ya?
Declan Jones for On the Drift Stable.
Season 9.
Season 9.
Wow.
Hectic. Nearly double digits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. How you going?
Good, mate. First time I've seen your face in a red hot minute.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a while. Both of us just fresh off our Northern Hemisphere campaigns.
Yeah, some European soirees.
Yeah.
I made it to Royal Ascot, and I think I had a good prep.
Yeah, yep. Just flying the Aussie flag over there. I was in. I visited a meeting that isn't as illustrious, you could say, as Royal Ascot, the Galway races, but so much fun.
Yeah, back a winner.
I did in the first race, but there's only 5 races, but they race every day from the Sunday through to the Saturday, I think. And yeah, back to first winner, 14-1.
Oh.
Lost all my money. Lost the next 4. So the shortest price favourite all day was like $2.50.
Oh.
But the rest of the races, it was like $5 or $6 the field. But there was only one race where the winner was single digits. They're all double digits, mate. It was just chaos.
Mate, it was like that at Royal Ascot. It was absolute carnage.
It was carnage, mate.
The only good thing of the day was Asfura, and your boy was not on. He
Had to back the Aussie.
I know, and I was cheering at home, but like in that at there, I was backing Big Evs. We were talking about Big Evs against Asfura, but I had to look at it because I'm like, I think Asfura is racing this week, so I went through a form profile, and last start, Big Evs went out and absolutely demolished her at Goodwood next start. So I was on the right horse.
It went too early.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Royal Ascot, Big Evs he was up there with Think About It for sweating up and playing up in the yard like any other horse I've ever seen. He's a young colt with a lot on his mind.
Yeah, but has some speed. Just needs to learn how to harness it, Big Evs.
Yes, but horses in general, one of the things I took away was Royal Ascot. That is the best bunch of thoroughbreds I've ever seen in person. They just look, the 200-1 pops that one of them won on the day looked immaculate.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's certainly a spectacle I want to add to the list. And you're in the mixer with the paupers. Yeah. What's it like being in the mixer at Royal Ascot as opposed to, let's say, maybe a Doomben racecourse?
Well, they sell cigars on track there.
Are you kidding?
No, so it's like, it's actually better watching races in Australia than at the track compared to Royal Ascot. The screen is really tiny and it's weird. Like, you almost have to be about 50 metres back from the actual rail where obviously the horses are running. But then the straight is so wide that the horses could be another 10 to 20 metres away.
Yeah.
So it's like they're actually really small, but then you go to look at the screen, and anyone from Brisbane, it's basically like the equivalent Doomben screen there instead of Eagle Farm.
Oh, it's shit. I was there on the weekend to watch our girl Portsea be very disappointing, by the way. And I was just looking at the screen, I was like, I was sitting in members, and there's the screen behind behind the track where the horses race, and there's like an actual mini TV in members. Yeah. I'm like, I'm better off just watching that.
Literally.
And I've got good vision, mate.
Yeah. Long-term vision. Some of the best. So yeah, the punters can smoke cigars if they have a win or a loss, which is fantastic to see. The amount of I didn't see Neds there, unfortunately, but the amount of bookies on course, my God.
Mate, Galway was the same. There was 100. 100 bookies.
It was unbelievable.
In a big ring.
Yeah.
And me thinking I have the biggest dick in Australia. I definitely don't. I'd literally go up to one and be like, he's got $8 for that thing. You've got $7.50. What are you going to do? And the bookie just be like, I'll give you $7.50. I'm like, okay. Okay. It was so much fun though, mate. Like, Royal Ascot would be one hell of an experience. But I think just getting to the Galway races, just being in the mixer with the locals, where we were staying, we went down to grab some brekkie in the hotel. It was let's say 9 a.m. and walk out the front, and there's a group of blokes in there, middle-aged blokes on the Guinness smoking durries. it's 9 a.m. They're fully dressed. And I was like, well, they're clearly going to the races.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the races don't start at 12 p.m. like they do for us. No. They start at 5:30, mate.
Yeah.
First race is 5:30. I said to the boys, I was like, heading to the races today? Like, yeah, eventually. I was like, starting early. They were just like, yeah, well, you know, we've got to line our stomachs somehow. And they were there for the entire week. So they were doing that for, 6 or 7 days in a row. They know how to do it, the Irish.
Yeah, they do. One thing that they don't miss you on at Royal Ascot is the price of the food and beverages. My God, I think it was like 12 or 13 pounds for a Guinness.
Oh.
It was highway robbery. But the tickets we got a couple drink vouchers with us, so it kind of lessened the blow. So, yeah. As for a one, and some of my best bets of the day were just like falling just short, which was a real shame. But I won it all back with Pledge of Allegiance in the 4,000 metre race. 0 form over the trip. And he just led the entire way and just ground him into the earth. But, so what also happens, right? So we were, because it was actually really poor to actually watch it live from like the track. So we were actually going, because there's a massive screen in the mounting yard there. And you see all the connections there, like in their top hat and tails.
Sick.
Just absolutely whipping them home. So we were like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And there's a bit of atmosphere there. Anyway, I went down to go get beer and come back. And they shut everything off. They're like, oh, sorry, mate, you can't go there. I'm like, oh, because I thought I had like a spare 5 minutes for a 4,000 metre race. And they're like, nah, sorry. And I'm like, oh, why do you shut this down? It's like, oh, just in case like the king wants to come round, because the king and queen were on course as well. So that was disappointing. So I was watching Pledge of Allegiance win on a tiny little screen there, but it was still a good win.
Winners win.
Yeah.
Something else I noticed as well is, I don't know what it's like at Royal Ascot, but for some of the races, they don't have barriers at Galway.
Oh, were they over the jumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just sort of canter up and they just go hell for leather.
Yeah.
Absolute insanity.
Oh.
It was a 5,500 metre bloody jumps race.
That's tough.
Yeah. It was tough. Willie Mullins had a few. Mm-hmm. He had a couple winners on the day. Like he'd usually have the $3.50 favourite.
Yeah.
And then his other horse,
Stable,
the 15 to 1 would win.
Yeah. The pacemaker, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just makes sense,
just
right?
Finding other ways to fuck you. But no, mate, Royal Ascot, very jealous. But it would have been a hell of an experience. Did you run into many Aussies when you were on the track?
There was a few there. I saw
Barracan for Asfoora.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, there was tons there. A ton of the Poms were on Asfoora, mate. She had one of the great plungers, probably the biggest plunger on the day. I think she was like 12 to 1 race morning. She got into sixes.
Yeah, wow.
They knew, I didn't. But yeah, there was a few Aussies there. I saw on socials afterwards. I'm like, Bjorn Baker was there. Gay was there. Craig Sneesby was there.
CS was there.
And the rest. I was like, and I was like, they were like standing right near where I was. I'm like, how did I miss them?
How'd you miss all that?
There was so many people there, and it was hot.
Was
Very hot, yeah. It was like the sensational Queensland weather that we're having right now.
Oh, it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. So, outside of the racing, mate, any other trip highlights?
Oh, so many. I think just drinking Guinness literally from dusk till dawn was a highlight for me. It was like a big UK pub crawl.
Yeah,
the greatest pub crawl of all time. I'd say the Scottish Highlands was phenomenal. Getting to the Isle of Skye and visiting a couple of whiskey distilleries and blowing myself up by accident when I did a whiskey tasting. It's like,
oops.
So you're literally sipping some of these whiskeys. And you're like, oh, gee, yeah, that's pretty good. I don't mind that. And you look down at the little like accompanying card with all the whiskey information and the tasting notes that the said whiskey might have. And it's got ABV. And it's like 55%. Holy shit.
Damn.
Mate, one of them was 60%. Blew me up. Got the bloody C4 out.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, that was great. And yeah, loved Ireland. Loved the races. The races were a real highlight. But the number one jewel in the crown was going to Coolmore Stud.
Yeah. Get a hat from there or anything?
No. So I don't know if we're just different in Australia, but I feel like Australians are big on their merch.
Yeah.
Like, you go to some shitty coffee store,
Yeah.
coffee cafe, whatever, like down the road from your house, and they've got their own T-shirts and caps.
Of
you know
course.
what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, if you want to buy a coffee and also a $20 cap, go for it. Coolmore Stud, you know...
World-renowned.
World-renowned. Arguably have had the most, you know, important stallions of the sort of 21st and late 20th century.
The literal big swinging dicks of the horse racing industry.
Literally. Don't have any merch. They have no merch.
Makes no sense.
I did the Coolmore Stud tour in Tipperary, just outside Cashel or however you say it. Cashel. And they don't have any merch. I was like, this is going to be so easy. I'm going to get everyone who needs to get something from this trip. Just at the end of this, I'm going to get 4 hats, please. I'm going to get a few pens. I'm going to get some stubby coolers. It's going to be bloody brilliant. But yeah, they don't have anything. But it was, mate. So we went to the actual first property that the Magnias bought, right? John Magnier. And I thought there was probably a little bit more history with Coolmore, but it actually started with John. So Tom Magnier, who runs it in Australia, his dad. And it's pure arse how the Coolmore Empire started.
Really?
So John Magnier and 2 other blokes, can't remember their name, bought a filly. And she won her first 2 races. And they thought, yeah, she's pretty good. Let's just start breeding her now. So they took her to either Northern Dancer or Danehill. I can't remember. But they're related, and at the time he was like the number 1 stallion in Europe, so I'm sure it wouldn't have been a cheap cover, right? Yeah. So the first horse that she had was a colt by the name of Saddler's Wells, and Saddler's Wells would go on to win multiple Group 1s. This is the first horse that they bred. Saddler's Wells would go on to be probably the best stallion of all time in the UK, until he had a son called Galileo.
Oh my God.
So literally, John Magnier and co kissed on the penis.
Like
it's like winning horse lottery.
A biology like trifecta.
Yeah, literally.
Unbelievable.
So Saddler's Wells, I think, produced something like 60 or 70 individual Group 1 winners. And they were like, yeah, this record's never going to be broken. Guess who broke it? Galileo, his son.
God.
So,
that's unbelievable.
And the entire Coolmore Empire, which now spans like 4 stud farms, both hemispheres, multiple continents, all comes from one filly and her first ever foal, a colt by the name of Saddler's Wells.
Wow.
Absolutely unbelievable. And just the property, mate, is just insane. Like those stallions are treated in some better than a lot of humans would be. I was thinking, I was like, cool, I'll get to meet Churchill, who's the stallion of our girl Portsea. Completely forgetting that he's a shuttle stallion to Australia, and it's breeding season now. So I was on the opposite end of the world, but got to meet a few big stallions.
Justified?
No, he wasn't there. He actually resides in the US,
right?
But Australia was there, which was cool.
Yeah.
A few others, I can't remember his name.
Seamus Ward over there, or is he here?
No, Seamus Ward's here.
He's
not Coolmore, no.
Right.
But just, got to meet some stallions, which was really cool. Stayed at the Cashel Palace, which is owned by the Magnier family. It is like hectic place, drifters. Like, I'm talking, if it's like a horse racing enthusiast's wet dream. There's a bar downstairs in the palace called the Guinness Bar, and they just have like a lot of like memorabilia and like sign stuff, and it's not just like British horse racing, it's also Australian horse racing. Like, send Hutch some photos of like cartoons of Everest winners. Yes. Gay Waterhouse has signed something in there, Chris Waller, so on and so forth. Black Caviar's got a couple of things in there, rest in peace. Just biggest highlight of the trip for me.
Yeah.
Like, as a horse racing guy, like,
of
course, I was walking around with a semi for 2 fucking days, mate. Nearly passed out.
Well, I'm glad you made it back, mate, because there's a lot for us to talk to, and you just mentioned it as well. But Black Caviar, that was really, I was I knew exactly where I was when I saw that news. I was in the car coming back from Australia Zoo on Saturday.
Australia Zoo?
Yeah, belated gift to my dear old mum. So, but yeah, shattering news.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. 18, which isn't young, but it's not old, I guess.
Middle-aged.
Yeah, so really, really sad. Obviously, they did everything they could for her. It's interesting to see all the people who became experts about horse racing and equine health after the death of Black Caviar, but unfortunately lost the foal as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that they don't do that for an unraced filly that has the same fate.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting.
So, but Black Caviar, I think we're actually really lucky to actually see her for 25 races at the track, 10-time Group 1 winner maybe, across multiple states, international, because from what Moods is saying, that in the current day, she probably doesn't have more than 3 starts because she was that injury prone, and I guess her walk was a bit not as proper as I guess the vets would want it to be in the current times.
Such a brute of a horse. I think her gait was just, you see those athletes who are just enormous. Like, I don't know why he's the first to come to mind, but Marcus Adams came to mind. Just like built like a brick shithouse, but just couldn't get on the field.
That is an obscure reference.
But you know what I mean? Like he's built like a fucking swimmer.
Yeah.
And just couldn't get on the pitch because he's too big for his rig. Too much pressure on his joints.
Yeah.
From what Moods has said, she had issues throughout her entire career, and he probably was going to scratch her from the race in Royal Ascot. Yeah. So still on.
The compression suit that she wore over there. Unbelievable. Like imagine like putting that order. G'day mate, how you going? bit of a strange one. That like skins that Jonathan Thurston wears. Like, can we get that except thicker and for an equine athlete?
Oh man.
So Vale, Black Caviar, one of our favourites, probably one of the horses in a very pivotal time for us that really got us interested in the great game. Like, she was the Winx before Winx. They're kind of like neck and neck for me for the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I think so. I think where you could argue that Black Caviar's ahead is the unbeaten record. Yeah, and she went overseas and did it. Yep. Which Winx did not.
In our most difficult, I guess, category of racing, sprint racing.
And to see the horses that came out post her retirement who raced against her, like Haylist.
Yep.
In any other era, he'd be a 10-time Group 1 winner, and I think he probably ended up with 3 or 4 maybe because of Black Caviar. So, and there's a couple others buffering, like
Buff went over to here,
Dubai, didn't he?
Yeah, Dubai. Yeah, which is hard to do. The big Buff. Anyway,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Now, we are feeling generous to kick this season off. So, what we're going to do, you might be seeing it on my head and Declan's head at the moment, but we have some new caps that the order has finally come in. So we will put them up for you to buy somewhat soon, but it's a bit of a process. So just calm down,
take it easy,
and be patient. But one lucky listener will have the chance to win themselves one of these. And we also have some of our old cord caps, the version 1 with the old logo. So they're a vintage edition, but the best review from this week's podcast will win themselves one of these and one of the old caps. So what you'll need to do is give us a 5-star rating, and ideally this would be on Apple Podcasts because that's where the reviews really live. But if you do listen on Spotify, give us a follow on there and reach out to us on IG with some nice words of encouragement as well. And if you watch on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment for your chance to win. So we'll announce that either this Sunday's review podcast or next Wednesday as well. Now, we asked the drifters during the week yesterday to kick things off. Just basically if they had any questions for us or any predictions that they had as well. So I have a prediction here from Adam Anitz.
Adam Anus?
Yeah.
Hello? What the hell?
Old double A.
Battery.
The battery. Prediction. Broadsiding to win the Cox Plate with J Car riding.
Great take.
Yeah.
Great take. Particularly with J Car because he'll be... Is it 49.5 this year or is it...
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but yeah, sure.
I think
Same weight as Animo, I'd say.
I think he can win a Cox Plate broadsiding.
Okay. He was very impressive because we didn't do a review podcast on Stradbroke Day.
No, he didn't.
Who's my thing that won the 2 mile race?
Oh, Allegron.
Oh, how good was that?
Yeah, so good.
And he drifted to $7.
Ridiculous price.
So, all right, let's have a look at that Cox Plate market. May as well. It's never too early to look at futures markets.
Especially the best race we have.
Yeah. So, Team Red, Cox Plate. Pride of Jenny, $5. Prognosis 7s, Via Sistina 7s, Broadsiding 12s. So he's 4th favourite at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not knocking Pride of Jenny at all, but I'll definitely take her on as favourite of Cox Plate.
Yeah?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like her last run at 2,000 metres was pretty impressive.
It was pretty good, but I think, I think I'd take her on at 2,000 metres as more so than I would a mile.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Just my feeling.
Yeah, hey, that's fine, mate. And broadsiding couldn't be any more impressive because I think the one knock that we were saying at the time was the rock hard track. And it proved to give him another leg. It was unbelievable. Maybe it's a really poor crop of 2-year-olds. And maybe he's the best of them, but he's giving me Animo vibes.
He's giving me Animo vibes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think he's actually proven that he loves the slop, which Animo didn't. So
No. And I think from what I've seen so far of him parading as well, temperament might be a little better than Animo. Because Animo was a bit of a dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
And sometimes he didn't want to be there.
No. No, but on the day, broadsiding just took it in and he was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, job done. Let's go. So, yeah, I like that. Cooper cordless of lacking a cord fame.
Has 0 cords.
Question. Is Pride of Jenny ready to back up the stunning spring that she had last year? Now, I think she's already backed that up in the autumn, but her last 12 months, will she back it up?
Oh, there's no reason to suggest why she wouldn't. I think the key to her last spring, is, from memory, she got beaten by Amelia's Jewel and then she won 2 Group 1s, was it? Like the Empire Rose and then the Champions?
I think she went down in the Toorak as well.
Yeah, okay.
She finished 3rd or 4th in Toorak, which
Attrition.
Yes.
Won. Antino was 2nd.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think the spring she sort of was like, oh shit, she's jumped out of the ground a little bit and she's run super. Can she back it up? And I think the autumn was more of a learning process for everyone because Kieran Maher and Declan Bates, I think, okay, what's the best way to ride this girl? And it's not just lead on her and kick. It's actually go at a breakneck speed. That's the best way to ride her. And I don't think they did that every run last prep.
No.
But when they did, was when she ran her best. So I think if she can, if Declan Bates can learn how to harness that and do that each and every start this prep, definitely she'll exceed what she did last spring and maybe even what she did in the autumn.
Like she's $2 favourite heading into the Memsey. There or thereabouts. 1,400 metres at Caulfield. So I think in the spring she was sensational, don't get me wrong, but she also had 2 leader bias days and then she backed it up well and truly in the autumn. It's like, okay, yes, she was assisted by that bias, but instead of winning by 3 lengths, she was winning by, whatever she was. And then that Queen Elizabeth was absolutely breathtaking. So absolutely. Now, Josh Buttonshaw, a comment and a question. That Toey for the return of the podcast, fellas.
Horny.
Love to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
What Group 1s will the Prince of Scone, Peter Snowden, be winning this spring?
Well, he's flying solo now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I have some suggestions if you want to hear me through.
Yeah, do that.
Drifting. Now,
Smart little filly.
Aptly named.
Yep.
For this podcast, but
she might be our favourite horse.
Yeah. Did I have a wager on her last week in the Quizette? No.
Did I? Yes.
She just found the front and just kept kicking. So I think she's a smart one. Bodyguard is another one within there. Their stable. So he arguably could have won a Blue Diamond if he didn't get scratched during the week. the one who I have a love-hate relationship with is the King of Sparta. He could win a Manikato or something.
He could. Or
a Winterbottom or something.
Yeah, he could. Look, I think if the Snowdens are going to win a Group 1, or if Peter Snowden, is going to win a Group 1, I think it's got to be with something new.
Yeah.
Maybe new 3-year-old bursts onto the scene. I think Drifting's a smart little filly. I think she's a Group 2, Group 3 filly at best.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. And they had that that colt who raced on the weekend in Sydney against
Gatsby's?
Yeah, ran third. And
is it that media?
No, it was in the China Horse Club Silks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll get the name of it.
So yeah, I think it'll be. I haven't even sort of thought about the Coolmore market, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's something jump out of the ground.
High octane.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I think there's some room to move, some room for improvement for the for Peter rather.
Yeah, for Peter.
Yeah, that's going to take some
just for
adjustment.
The Snowden.
Yes. Now, Jordan Sondergold, if you could own a horse for the spring, who would it be?
One with his nuts still attached to be broadsiding easily, because if he wins a couple more Group 1s, which I think he will, how much cash am I worth?
Yeah.
And like, I love a 3-year-old colt who can measure up at weight for age over the middle distances. So, he'd be the one for me.
Yeah.
I'd say the other one, and he's a little bit forgotten, but he's been in the headlines a little bit after a trial this week. Giga Kick.
That's where my mind was heading. Is like, do you go for tradition for the 3 main features, Cox Plate, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, or do you go for cash? And I was having a look at the cash market for the Everest. I Wish I Win's $4.50 favourite, but knowing I Wish I Win and Moots, it'll probably be his only run for the prep.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you have one crack at the cherry, probably not my cup of tea. So the other cash option is obviously the Golden Eagle. And limited to 4-year-olds. The favourite in that race is Celestial Legend.
I forgot about him. He's definitely one of mine. He's still got his nuts attached.
So
he's
could go
right up there.
He could go for an Epsom, go back to back in the mile handicap features. Already winning a Doncaster, so he could win an Epsom, I feel. Then he could potentially just bypass a Cox Plate if it's a bit too scary, and then just win the Golden Eagle with a leg in the air.
And then come back, in the autumn, still with his nuts attached 4-year-old, have a crack at 2,000 metres in the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Back at the scene of the crime of his Doncaster win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love a horse that doesn't aim too high as well. So it's like I feel like for the staying horses, the Metropolitan is a very winnable race if you have the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a horse racing this weekend for Waterhouse Bot, Elias.
Yeah.
Current $8 favourite, equal favourite with Faulkner Park. Faulkner Park won't be going there because it's ballot exempt into the Caulfield Cup. That's a horse that is on the up. Very, very much so. So I'm keen on him this weekend, and I think he's a good bet in the Metropolitan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get into the previews, we've already been here for about half an hour or so.
Fucking hell.
But you can send us a text message. If you're listening to this podcast right now on your podcasting apps, have a look at the description. You'll see at the very top that you can send us a text to get involved in the show. So if we've said anything that you want to counter what we're saying.
If you feel like you have an opinion that's worth sharing, think twice.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get roasted.
Yeah.
Share it. We're keen to have a chat to the drifters.
Yeah.
The best thing about horse racing is every opinion's valid.
100%. 100%. The opinions might not be right.
They might not be.
But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Randwick. Race 5. Soft 6 at the moment. Little bit of rain around, but I think it'll be an improving track.
I think it'll be, if it's a soft 5, it'll be a soft 5 that's improving. If it's a good 4, it'll be a juicy good 4, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, so rail out 3 metres. Let's start race 5. The Premier's Cup, 2,000 metres. Group 3 contest, open handicap. Calipore is your top weight with 61 kilos, right down to political debate at 53. Elias is the one I kind of talked about. He was absolutely dominant in the Mayor's Cup, loved the trials. He's definitely horse to beat. He's drawn to do no work. The only thing, I had a look at this speed map. There is nothing here. I have no idea what's going to take it up.
Canberra Legend's been forward before. And I actually didn't mind his trials, but you can have him. I think Elias is going to be really hard to beat, mate. I really do. I think the other one that you probably, speaking of Peter Snowden, that you could have a throw at the stumps with at $8.50 is Touristic. Just because he's into his prep and his rock hard fit, he might, he might just get the one up on Elias when Elias is resuming, maybe.
Yeah.
But Elias is a horse, like you said, who's destined for bigger things than this, I think.
Yeah.
French horse.
French. Parlez-vous français?
Yes.
I've forgotten how to say hello. Bonjour.
Were you not watching the Olympics, mate?
Oh, I was loving it. Did you watch any of it?
Yeah, I did, but being in the UK the entire time,
You were doing stuff.
Yeah, I was doing stuff during the day when the Olympics was on, but it was still going by the time we got home at night. But it was, each hotel only had the BBC. And, mate, I tell you what, the English, they would be showing replays of one of their shitty athletes who in their words, won a medal in an event 2 days prior, and they've scraped home for bronze in fucking, I don't know, something like diving or some running event, and they just show it on replay. And it's like, can you just put maybe the basketball on where Serbia is playing Australia?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Great Britain's not involved in this, but can you show something else, please?
Yeah. Can you show some respect?
And they celebrate like a bronze is a win.
Yeah, no.
Whereas we're like, bronze, yeah, well done, but you didn't get the gold, bruh. And that's the currency we're talking.
Yeah. Aussie gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Green and gold.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the colours. It's in our DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a winning country.
We're winners.
Yeah. I think behind New Zealand, we're the best sporting nation. Based on the
per capita.
We had, I think, 18 golds, I think.
Yep.
New Zealand had 9, which is unbelievable.
That's crazy.
That is, for 4 million people, that is unbelievable.
That is crazy.
So, yeah, huge effort by the Aussie Olympians. Loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Yep. Now,
the Silver Shadow Stakes is race 6, 1,200 metres Group 2 for the 3-year-old filly. Set weights penalties. Manal, who won, what did she win? She won the English Sires.
She did.
Just over my guy, Traffic Warden. God damn it.
T-dub.
Now, $2.40.
Well, it's just a question, I think, this race of if you're comfortable backing the fact that Manal's just so much better. If you think Manal's so much better, you're happy to take her with 58 kilos from gate 4 at $2.45 with the good people at Ned's. Do I think that though?
Don't know.
I don't think so. Especially once they transition from 2 to 3, things can just jump out of the ground. So I'd probably be inclined, and I need to look at this race a bit more closely, but I'd probably be inclined to look at something that's, I don't know, maybe a bit more lightly raced and has a bit more scope for improvement. That's got a bit of weight relief, I'd say.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Chateau Miraval's the one that I found at $13. I was not expecting that price. She has been trialling super. Really, really nice. Her latest one was against some of the older horses as well. Mm-hmm. And she was only beaten 2 lengths, but she wasn't really asked to do too much. The other one in here, Amina, who was...
I thought Amina.
A little bit disappointing in her at the end of her last prep, but could have been a young horse.
Yeah, I think she was just a 2-year-old who it came a bit too soon for her. And I think... And the Friedmans have a really high opinion of her with the JMac booking. I think Amina's the one that I'm leaning towards.
And you might not have seen this, but I think I'm on this season again.
Shit.
So her first trial was in Doomben. So her second trial was in Randwick. She's had 2 trials. The first one in Doomben, which makes me suggest that she's been spelling up here.
Oh.
Which I love that.
I love to see that.
Get her out of the cold, wintry conditions of Sydney and in Melbourne. Get her up to the Sunshine State where she's more comfortable. So Amina has, I assume, been spelling up here as well. So want to take on the favourite, Chateau Miraval, Amina for me. Zaitung, Licky Tongue. Very impressive winner in a midweek at Canterbury. for Godolphin has put a couple together. Want to see her do it against this grade though.
Yep, fair enough.
Now, the Show County Quality 1200 meters Group 3 handicap. Who have you got here? Because Jolly Star is your $3.30 favourite, dual accepted, but I'm pretty sure she's going to this one.
Yeah, from what I've read, I think she's more likely to be here. I'm with her. So she wins the 1,000 Guineas, which was the later edition at Caulfield last year. Didn't see her for 21 weeks. Comes in, wins the Arrowfield Sprint, and that's as far as Group 2s go, that's right up there in terms of quality each and every year. The Arrowfield. And it was a diving finish, but for her to do that first up after not racing for so long, after a couple of trials, that's a hell of an effort.
Against some colts, that would have been third or fourth up.
Yeah, with that being their main target.
And there is subsequent winners galore out of that race. Corniche finished fourth. Arkansas Kid just went out and won on the weekend. Schwartz won again. Very, very strong.
Yeah. So I want to be with her, and I think there's probably some intent with her. Chris Waller's been chatting. Could she be my Everest horse? Potentially. I think he would have learned a lot from trying to make Zoo Gotcha a sprinter this time last year. Jolly Star's not Zoo Gotcha, obviously. Maybe she is more of a sprinter. Again, J-Mac on. He rode 5 last Saturday. Like, fucking hell.
How many times does J-Mac get down to 54?
Not very often.
Yeah. I think that's telling as well.
Not very often. So
Yeah.
I hope she's here. And because of the nature of the race as well, like Southport Tycoon's got to carry 59. He's first up over 1,200 metres. He nearly won first up over 1,200 metres last prep. Democracy Manifest is a good horse. But he's just resuming. Yellow Brick's a bit of a cat.
The one I couldn't place was Airman. Really disappointing last prep.
I have to see it.
But he has some pretty decent first up form. Like, he's never been out of the top 3, but I agree. I need to see it. And he's one of my best mates after giving me one of the great fill-ups on grand final day last year.
Yeah. I'm looking at this race and I'm seeing 2 horses that I think are Group 1 caliber. One's already got one, that's Southport Tycoon, and the other one I think is Jolly Star. And she's weighted so much better in this race with J-Mac on.
Yep.
And I think she's more of a 1,200 metre horse than what Southport Tycoon is. So, that leaves her as the one to back at a backable price.
Yeah, I think so. I think she'll start shorter than that. Now, the Winx. Let's just go in race order, hey? The Winx Stakes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up what the drifters are reckoning here. So, ask them, who are they on here? Cooper Cordless, whatever J-Mac is on. Good strategy.
Good strategy.
So that's Fangirl at $2.20. Benny Carroll, Fangirl. Cooper both. Got to be Fangirl, but have no idea how good Via Sistina is over this distance. Mitch Felton. Fangirl first up, yes please. Josh Buttonshaw, silly questions, fellas, drifting next year. He's a big Peter Snowden fan.
Big piece.
I think he might be working for the Snowden, for Peter. Fuck. Anyway, so how did you see this contest? Fangirl, $2.20 after a little setback in the autumn. That is, and she's not a good trialer at the best of times, right? But
trials have been dross.
They've been real dross.
They've been dross, the trials. I want to take her on. I think I'm fangirl. Like, I'm not a fangirl guy. Like, I'm not a fanboy of fangirl. I really like her. I think she's a good horse. From that gate, she goes back. She gets J-Mac, which, that's a match made in heaven, those two. I think he's 5 from 7 on Fangirl. She'll probably get a drying track, which is great. She could have died from that injury that she had.
I thought it was just a clip to her leg or something.
No, apparently she was not good.
Yeah, right.
So, and based on those trials, I'm thinking Chris Waller's also got an eye on the Cox Plate with her.
She's already nominated.
So for me, maybe she's not going to be as sharp first up as what she was last year. But could also just sit off them and absolutely brain them. The one I was looking at, who I think was a little bit forgotten before the barrier draw, was Riff Rocket.
Yep.
first up over 1,400 metres last prep, just put him to the sword. And we were thinking, fuck, does this guy win the Guineas and then just win an Australia Cup? He didn't do that, but he won bloody... He won the Rose Hill Guineas and then the bloody Australian Derby.
I had some sick beats in the autumn. Cheerwolf.
Oh, fuck. Gross.
Anyway,
so Riff Rocket for me, like, imagine if he's taken improvement from the autumn and he comes here and he's the, you know, he's the new gelding on the scene that could dominate the weight for age scene. I just with that gate, hot Nash on, I'm guessing that, you know, Chris Waller probably wants to get Riff Rocket, if not a Cox Plate, probably to a Caulfield Cup, I'd imagine. So could he do it first up? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like he's got the talent, but again, you got to risk some.
I reckon he could go towards like a Turnbull or something.
Yeah.
But all right, just counterpoint, right? That 1,400 meter contest, very good. Very fantastic performance. This is who he beat. King Colorado, Verdad, Otago, Hey Fat Cat, Cap Ferrar, going down the order here, Tannhauser. That was before the gelding operation, to be fair, and Amur. So the form's not there.
This is a good Group 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a Group 1 because it's not a grand final, but it's a good quality
It's a good field.
Hate the Silks, but, you know, noticeable change. Number 11, Tropical Squall.
Forgotten horse. And she's already come in. She was $11 when I was looking at this earlier.
And there's a lot of back markers in this race.
Mate.
Do you know what she does?
She zooms forward.
She zooms forward, makes her own luck with Adam Hippopotamus on.
Like, sure. Would I have preferred barrier 3 over barrier 11 rather? Sure, I would have. But it doesn't really matter.
Not in this race.
No.
I don't think. I would not be surprised if she steals it. Something I've said on the podcast before, and I'm going to stick to it though, is I think the 4-year-old mares, I think they're just a little bit disadvantaged when they come into the weight for age ranks in the spring. And I think they get a lot better when they transition to being a 5-year-old. And there's 2 mares who've done that, and that's number 9, Zugotcha, number 10, Samana. Samana's got some residual fitness. I would not be surprised.
Only horse in the race that has that residual fitness. She was one that she's definitely in my numbers because of that.
She was super. Didn't miss the top 3 last prep. Kieran Maher, wouldn't be surprised to see him spoil the party, but I've got to be with Zugotcha. I think for her, she's not stretching out to 2,000 metres like all these other horses. And I think Chris Waller's probably kept his cards pretty close to his chest, you know, because he doesn't want to spruik whichever one of his horses, because he's got all the most important owners in Australia to please. Fucking hell, like look at this. He's got Yulong, he's got Deb Capetus, he's got
Aussie Kerr.
The Inghams, he's got Aussie Kerr,
he's got Craig,
he's got Noel for, you know, Zugotcha's Silks, obviously. Like bro's got some people to keep happy.
He's shaking hands on the weekend, Chris.
Exactly. Out of all these horses, who's the one who's a 1,400 metre horse?
Yeah, Zugotcha and Fangirl.
Exactly.
Like they're the not even Fangirl. Fangirl's a miler.
Yeah, but she could
Uh,
put him to the sword over 1,400 metres.
Yep.
But is the one with the. I don't see a lot of pace here, and I can see her being parked up just behind Tropical Squall with Tommy Berry, who's due for a win. And she was $11 when I was looking at her earlier today, maybe $10. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's the play for me.
Yep.
And obviously a little bit of bias there, but I think she can get this one.
Yep.
But she's not beating any of these as they stretch out over further.
No way.
Like if she goes to a King Charlie, you know, over a mile, and Fangirl's there, and a few of these other ones are there.
Way.
Like I just don't think she's that good over a mile compared to them.
No.
Whereas 1,400 metres, I think it's equal footing.
Yes,
so to speak.
And I think in the Coolmore and the Queen of the Turf, obviously she won both of those in the autumn, and the Millie Fox, all against the girls though.
All against the girls.
So
they ain't some vintage boys in this race, but yeah, against the girls. But the girls didn't include Fangirl or Via Sistina at that time.
Exactly. It did include a tissue just needs Flemington 2,000 metres or 1,600. That's what she needs.
Mm-hmm.
Tropical Squall.
Tropical Squall.
I think she just has the most intent here.
Yeah. Definitely, mate. They know if she's going to win one, it's this one. Fresh
Exactly.
up.
And she's already won 2. 2 or 3.
Group 1. She's got 2.
Yeah,
She's got
won.
a surround.
Yep, she's won 2. This is the perfect opportunity to just tick that long wait for age against the boys. Doesn't matter who. Same for Zugotra as well. Group 1 box. So Tropical Squall on top for me for all the reasons that you outlined. The only thing I will add is she was my on-top selection in the Queen of the Turf. I only found out about an hour after the race that she actually had a virus the week of the race.
That's right.
So I had some shocking luck
Yeah,
in the
you
autumn,
did, you
mate.
did.
But if they actually made it to the track, but I think she's the one. If she's fit and ready to go, her trial suggests so. If she's fully fit, no excuses. I think she just leads and wins.
Yeah, she really could. She could just pull all their pants down. No, look, a fascinating contest and a good one. I think, but looking through this field, you're looking at...
Via Sucina's one we haven't talked about. What are your thoughts on her?
Little bit of an unknown quantity over this distance for me. I'm prepared to just leave her here. If she wins, okay, well, who's beating her this prep? But I think she'll probably be one that I want to back once she gets out to 2,000 metres.
Yeah, second or third up, I reckon.
Yeah.
I agree. I want to see her go around. I had a fantastic trial. My old mate, old Detonator.
Detonator Jack.
He had a great trial. Now, what I've learnt with trials is they mean...
Dilly squat.
They mean nothing.
Dilly squat.
But I think for the Detonator, he needs further and he needs a heavier track for me. But Buckaroo's been gelded. Not the worst at $61. I think he ran a pretty decent race first up as well. So plenty of chances, but Tropical Squall on top for me and Zugocha for you might put that in a same race multi at the good people at Ned's or even a little Quincy. Now, the toy show quality. 1,100 metres Group 3. Jolly Star officially scratched, which is good to see. So J-Mac doesn't have a ride here. Fillies and Mares Open handicap. I think. Is it time to trust Luke Pepper that he's just going to give Opal Ridge the King of Sparta treatment and just run her every 4 to 6 weeks?
She can definitely win this first up. Like,
$12.
$12 is a great price for her.
It's a big price.
The two that I was looking at, though, sort of the Black Cloud and Commemorative are probably the two sort of more fresh on the scene down in the weights that I think I might be leaning towards. But yeah, Opal, like 1,100 metres, like she hasn't missed a Quinella. First up, her record reads 5 starts for 4 wins and a second. Like at that price, I'd be pretty mad at myself to let it go around without me.
Yeah.
Especially on a drying track. I wonder what they aim with her. Like I think they sort of with Opal Ridge, you sort of think let's just try and get some black top with her this prep because her residual value is there anyway. You know what I mean? Like I don't think she's
won 3 listed races and ran second in a Group 2 once.
Yeah, so get a Group 2 or Group 3 win or a couple. I can't see her winning a Group 1.
No way. So I'm looking at her. This is Group 3 level and her performances there. She's run 5th behind Alentia, Portrait and Magic Time on a heavy track, which is not her go. And she also ran 4th behind Magic Time, Paracel and Lady Laguna. So
that's probably her.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think this is a winnable race for her.
Mate, Lady Laguna could win this even though she's got 61 kilos on her back.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight, but she should win it.
Yeah, and you finally saw the bottom of her at the end of last prep in the Doncaster. She just had enough.
Yeah.
Because she had one of the longest preps of all time, and she just kept running in the first 2.
She really did.
So, yeah, she could run a good race here. But so you're Black Cloud or Commemorative?
Yeah, I just think New Kids on the Block a little bit, you know. Jack Pride with the Black Cloud, got a couple of wins with her in the winter and eased her out, and will she take some improvement out of that? I'm not sure, but yeah.
Don't know about commemorative. She's a big mare.
Big mare.
Enormous. And she's, maybe it's just because she's so big, she's still feeling into herself. So as she gets older, she'll probably get more consistent, but she's puts in a good one, then a bit of a flat one. So until she starts putting it together, she's probably a non-betting proposition for me. But yeah. Oh, we have one at Moonee Valley, don't we?
Yeah, there is one.
All right. The Valley, race 8, the Carlyon Stakes, 1,000 metres listed, set weights, penalties. Probably the best placed horse in all of the autumn, Bold Bastille. How much money in the bank? 700 grand. 3 listed races in her back pocket. Sensational placement by Lindsay Park.
Sensational. Because she was beaten up on things that weren't very good.
Yeah.
You look at these races, there's a listed race in there. There's the Blue Diamond Prelude, where she failed. There's another listed race, the Redout's Choice Stakes. So, like, this is big boy stuff now. Like, there's nowhere to hide. But I think first up with 50.5 kilos, Jamie Carr ripping around the Valley.
Often gone sort of stuff.
It could be the one where she just jags it. So I think she can win. She's $3. Mornington Glory, who placed in the Oakley Plate, was terrific last start when he
brained him.
When he brained him in a benchmark 100, should change them to the. When you think benchmark 100, who's the first horse that comes to mind?
Jimmy the Bear.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that is Pounding, and then third is Young Werter.
yeah, those three.
Those three are the first three that come to mind.
Yeah.
Like, is he a benchmark 100 sprinter? Maybe. But he can win this, and but yeah, I'm happy to back Bulba still.
Yeah, I agree. Saw that Tony with Golden Boom and Antino and some others. Natuno. He's got a bit of a. I think he's looking at that Manicato, going like, that is up for the taking.
It could be. It could be interesting to see what he does with Antino. Maybe he has another crack at the 2-rack.
Yeah.
Because he was phenomenal first up. And then you have to say he was disappointing for the rest of the prep. Antino.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Maybe just keeping him at those sprint distances. Maybe the first up's fine, but then he needs to go to 14, then he needs to go to 16 as opposed to 12, 13, 14. But,
yeah. Acromantula.
Oh, the WA thing.
Yeah. Should be up there on pace. But, yeah, this is a good little contest. Not a betting race for me. I do like Mornington Glory. I think he's a progressive, even though he is 6. I think they've kind of figured him out because they were going to retire him. Then they brought him back and he's been bloody consistent. So, Griff is an interesting one as well.
Yeah, the Kieran Maher thing.
Yeah, he won the Caulfield Guineas last year.
That's right. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Just jumped out of the ground, didn't he? Something like a Kieran Maher horse.
Yeah. Something in the water.
Yeah. We would obviously like to welcome back our fantastic friends at Ned's as well for season 9.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good to have them on board.
Yep. Great to have them on board. And probably an exciting announcement, I'd say, at some point this spring that we can share with you guys.
Yeah.
Regarding, I'd say the Entain family.
Yes.
I'd say, because we're part of that.
Yeah, we are.
And something else that I wanted to point out, Drifters, we'll be running a Group 1 competition. At some point in the spring, we're probably aiming to kick it off for that Friday night, the Manicato, which I think is the 27th.
AFL Grand Final weekend.
Yeah. Look, the finer details will be sorted out at a latter point, but we want to get you guys involved in a Group 1 tipping comp. Obviously, there's a Group 1 this weekend, but in our opinion, things don't really start heating up until late September, October, really.
Like when footy season's done.
Exactly. So the real shit, not this first up dross.
So yeah, tipping comp will be up for you to participate in. but we'll be flogging that for the next 4 weeks or so once we've figured out exactly what we're doing. Leave a review, send us through to us, Spotify, Apple, wherever. You can win one of these and one of the old cords.
If you watch on YouTube, like the video, comment.
Subscribe is a good one.
That's good.
Yep. And if you're listening to this on your podcasting app, send us a text if you want to. If you have anything worth that you want to say.
Yeah. If you want to be, if you've got an opinion and you want to be roasted,
let's do it.
Be my guest.
All right. We'll see you Sunday for the review podcast.
Cheers.
All right.